Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're looking at a brand new product, a very talked about one and a very popular one, and that is Heartbeat by Juan. This is very interesting, very cool, sparked raves in the magic community of people talking about this, how much they like it, how much they found it cool, but there's also a lot of people that have some pressing questions about it. And hopefully in today's videos, I can answer your questions about Heartbeat and make you realize if this is for you or maybe if it isn't. So let's roll the intro and dive directly into Heartbeat. Perfect. So thank you for sticking around. I think you do want to learn more about Heartbeat. So first of all, what is Heartbeat? Heartbeat is essentially a routine or kind of a project on which you will be able to have your spectator feel the pulse, feel your pulse on their finger through a pen, through a pencil, through various different objects. We're going to talk about that at the end. But the main one that you know and you saw is the pencil. So you take the pencil, you place it on the spectator's hand, you have them place their hand on their heart, you then place your hand on their heart, and the moment you touch your heart, they feel the heartbeat in their hand, okay? So I can't perform this for you because I have no spectator, but as I mentioned, it is as simple as that. You take a pencil, you ask your spectator to place their hand flat, you place the pencil on their hand while you hold it just like that, and then you have them place their hand on their heart, you do the same, and they're gonna feel your heartbeat in the tip of their finger. That is essentially what the effect is. So, having said that, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this at illusionist.com. As of the writing of the video, it is the only place where you can buy this. Maybe this will be distributed at some magic shops in the future, but at the moment of writing, it is only available through Illusionist. This will set you back around $30 or $35, depending if you bought it on pre-order or you buy it now. So that's essentially kind of the price point that you are getting for this effect. And what you get is a few things. First, you get your packaging, which is in this nice kind of steel-ish box. Inside of this box, you get all of the props that you need. We're going to talk about those in a moment. But before we do, you also get a tutorial. So the tutorial video is 30 minutes long. It's with Juan and Christian Grace. He teaches you where to perform this effect, because that's important, when to perform the effect, because that's important, who to perform the effect for, because that's important. Then he goes over how the effect works, how the routine works, and then he goes over some crediting, an intro, etc. Then there's also a separate video with live performances for the project, and then there's another separate video that is made about it's the same video but in Spanish. So it's a Spanish dub of the project. So if you buy it, you can also listen to it in Spanish. That is essentially what you get in terms of video, and the videos are really well shot, they're well explained, there's close-up, you understand what you have to do. Then you also get your props. So the first thing that you get is your pencil. So you get this little holder so you can hold it like in your pocket or just place this in your pocket. It's a pencil, ungimmicked, nothing to it. It's just a normal pencil. And the only reason they give you this pencil is because you can't use, the pencils that have like a gum on top, right? The ones that have like a gum, or the fully circular ones. There's some properties that a pencil like this has that others don't, but you can find this at your local dollar store or anything like that. So once you know why they chose this pencil and he's explained it to you, you can pretty much go for anyone. And as I mentioned, he even teaches you how to do it with your finger. So just by placing your finger on the hand of the spectator, he teaches you how to do it with a vape, how to do it with a chopstick, with some different items. He tells you that it is possible and you're not only limited to a pencil, but you get that, okay? So with the holder, and then you get two extra things inside. I won't really show because I don't want to spoil things a bit, but they're not gimmicks or anything, because this is fully ungimmicked. There's no gimmicks, no mechanics, no electronics here. It just purely just works. Like I don't want to tell you why because it would spoil, but it just works. That's all I can tell you. It just works, okay? It's as simple as that. It just works, and yeah, but you also get two things that are going to help you make it work a bit better. because if you have very sweaty hands, like yours truly here, extremely sweaty hands, he gives you something extra that you can just use before performing it to make your hands not sweaty. So you get that. That possibly a lot of people are not going to use, but if you do have sweaty hands, it is nice to have access to that. And then he gives you an extra thing that you can carry around with you that every so often he does tell you, you know, if you perform this for an entire night and you decide to make this a workhorse instead of like a special moment, he discusses that. We're going to talk about that in a moment. He does give you an extra thing that he just tells you, you know, if you do it like that, just make sure to do this with this specific thing that I gave you to make sure that it keeps everything working well and as it should be. So that's essentially everything that you get in your package. And now let's move on to the difficulty. So is heartbeat difficult to perform? And I think that is a two-pronged question, because I think the heartbeat is difficult to practice, but not difficult to perform. And what I mean by that is because you cannot test heartbeat by yourself. So you cannot take heartbeat, perform it on yourself, and know that it's working. You can't do that. So to practice heartbeat, you have to do it let's say you don't have anyone with you, you have to practice it on the table or on a piece of paper, on a tin or something. You have to practice it there, and you don't have the assurance that you know for 100% that it's going to feel the same way to your spectator. So the best way to perform this is if you have any magic friends, or if you have like family members or dedicated family members, you can practice it on them. What I do is I have my mom every day, I practice it on her just to make sure that it works. And when I feel that I'm 100% sure that it works, I'm gonna go out. So I think this is harder to practice than it is to perform, because when you perform, I think that the person that you perform to is going to feel it no matter what. Because I think that if you get someone in the state that they're supposed to be when you go perform this, it's going to work. Even then, this is so simple in terms of mechanics, because as I mentioned, there's no electronics, anything like that. This purely works because of how things work in life. That's all I can say, is because how things work in life, this is going to work. So, you know, it's something that is always going to happen in life for when you do this method. So you don't have any, like, it's hard not to tell you how this works without telling you, you know? So I have a bit of hard time, but I do think you understand what I mean, that this works because it works, right? So it's going to work most of the time. And as I said, maybe if your hands are a bit too sweaty or something, it will have a bit of difficulty. But I do think that even if this doesn't work exactly as intended, I still think it's gonna have an effect on your spectator, and they're gonna, just by being so into it, they're gonna probably feel your heartbeat, is what I wanna mention. So this is really easy to do, but to me at least, I feel that I need to practice it a lot more on my parents and close ones to make sure it's gonna work 100% of the time, because when I practice it and they're not here, I just don't feel for sure that this is going to work, okay? But you can practice it. He does tell you how to practice it. He shows you how to do it, you know, how to do it without actual human contact. So he goes over that, but still I think that it's a bit harder to practice than it is to do. So once you go out to do it, it's gonna be super, super easy. Having said that, let's move into practicality. Is this effect practical to perform? Now, as I mentioned, this is done with the pencil, so you have to carry around the pencil. But if you know the method, if you practice it enough, then he also teaches you how to do it with your finger. So you can literally just do this with your finger. You could do it, he tells you, with a vape. You could do it with different items, with a cigarette. He said he's done it with a cigarette. So once you know, you don't have to necessarily do it with a pencil, which means that if you don't want to carry around anything, there may be opportunities where there's going to be a pencil that matches this pencil, or maybe there's going to be a cigarette or a vape or your finger, and you can do this pretty much impromptu because there's nothing to it. The items are not gimmick. You're not wearing any gimmicks. You don't have anything on you. It just works. So practicality wise, in terms of carrying capacity, if you want, you don't even have to carry around your pencil. You can just do it in the spur of the moment if ever the opportunity arises. However, if you want to do this 100%, you will just take the pencil with the holder, place it in your pocket, and you're good to go. So in terms of that, it's very, very good. Second, in terms of refills, as I mentioned, there's nothing gimmicked here. So you can just go on Amazon or at your local Staples or Walmart and buy a pack of pencils just like this for like $2, 50 pencils. And if you want, after each performance, you can gift the pencil to your spectator. If you want, it could be a really cool souvenir, a really cool moment, because it's not gimmicked. So you can do that as well if you want. So you don't have to worry about anything breaking or anything like that. It's because you're learning a technique here. You're not buying a special prop, special gimmicks. You're learning a technique. So this technique will be with you forever. And the items that you use, you can just hand out. Moving on to practicality, angle-wise. Angle-wise, I think this could be 360. I personally wouldn't do it 360 because, as he mentions as well, this is a one-on-one routine. This is not a everyone make a circle, everyone make a circle. You come here. You're gonna feel my heartbeat. Are you ready? Is everyone ready? This is not that type of effect. You're not gonna be hyping up everyone for this effect. This is more of a one-on-one. So naturally, the angles are going to be 180. And if there's any of their friends here or anything like that, they're going to stand next to them, right? They won't come behind you or anything like that. So even though this could possibly be done 360, most of the time you're going to be doing it 180 because you do it to one spectator. Second of all, if you do this, I do think this is done better standing. You can do it sitting, but it is done better standing. I want to mention that as well. In terms of reset, there's 0 reset. In terms of examinability, it's fully examinable. And in terms of anything else regarding practicality, there's not much more to say. I think I've covered all bases. Now let's move into where to perform. Usually this is the fastest section in my reviews, but here's going to be a bit longer because this is where the effect will shine or not. This is even in the tutorial where he takes the most time. This is not an effect you're going to perform to everyone. So as he mentions, when he talks about what he's going to do and he talks about his magic, he looks for someone that is like really invested, right? If there's a dude like this, looking there, or there's someone on their phone, or there's someone like eating while you're talking, he says don't do the effect for them. Do this effect for the person that's like, oh, that's really interesting, that's really invested. That's who you want to perform this to. He also says that this is more of a one-on-one. The way he likes to perform it is a one-on-one, which means that he doesn't perform this as a gigging trick. He doesn't go for every single table or every single cocktail or everyone at a convention and do this for them. He says it's not that type of effect. It's more of a one-on-one, of an intimate thing. So yes, you will have to take care of that as well. And about where to perform. And the thing is also that he mentions when to perform. He tells you, you won't go into the nightclub in Ibiza and start performing Heartbeat because people will not feel, people will not be concentrated. You can't really do this, in loud environments or in random places. Like, you're not just gonna go stop someone, I don't know, like at a festival and do this to them, right? So you do have to take care, not because it cannot be done, but just for the best experience. You do have to do this to your spectators in a calmer environment, in a one-on-one, in a more intimate setting. Not that it's impossible to do it anywhere else, but you really do have to keep that in mind. So having said that, where would you perform this? I would say that you could perform this, for example, at a wedding or something for the bride and groom. You can make it for them. Like, you could do it for the bride, then tell them, look, you feel, this is your pulse you're feeling. So instead of them feeling your pulse, you're just going to say that you're going to give their pulse to the other person. Like, I'm just thinking right now. So you could do it to the bride, then tell, do you feel that? That's your pulse. You're feeling your pulse. Look, you do it to the husband or the groom, and he feels the pulse through, I think you understand what I mean. But you can find intricate ways of doing this for special occasions. So you could do it for maybe that. You could do it for someone at their birthday to give them a lasting memory, or you could do this for a friend, or for someone that's super invested in your magic. Like at some events, I have some tables where, people follow me through the night, and if they see me just hanging out or just doing nothing, they're gonna be like, oh, please, can you show me something else? I really loved what you did. I really love this, right? They are your person. They are the person you want to perform this. So if you perform this, I don't think this is going to be something you include in your parlor piece or in your stage piece or in your walk around piece. I think this is something you carry around with you for that someone that really wants to see more, or for someone, for like a friend or a family member that's important to you or something like that. That's where I feel you could do this. There's some people that literally said they took this at their gig and did it to everyone. And you can do that. It's completely fine. But just so you know, I think it's better in those other scenarios. So having said that, what are the positives and what are the negatives of heartbeat? So let's start with the negatives. The negatives of heartbeat, I feel that it's the practice thing. I feel that, if you do this on your family members, they're going to get tired and annoyed. And I think that is the best people to do it with, to get honest feedback. So I think the tutorial loop of this and how you practice it to make sure it works well, you can do it, on what he tells you on the table, etc. But I think the best practice is on actual people. So you will have, some people are not going to be sure that they know the technique correctly or anything like that. So they're going to be stressed out when they go out to perform it. Maybe they won't do what they need to do well. So I do think that maybe just the training loop is something that is going to bother a few people, but it's nothing too hard. I feel just go test it out, even if it's on your friends or something, even if it's at a gig and you tried and it doesn't work, move into something else. Just tell them that you just wanted to see how they connect with something like this or whatever. Find an excuse and go into something else, go into a mind reading exercise or something, right? Or say that if it doesn't work, this is just me thinking because I watched some recent Peter Turner videos. You do it, and if they don't feel anything, you tell them, okay, but all I wanted to do was connect this pen with me and to you. And even if you didn't feel the heartbeat, I think that this worked. Can you take the pen? Can you take this piece of paper? Can you write the name of a loved one on this piece of paper? And then you tell them, remember, we connected each other with this pencil, and I can feel, you can do like a psychometry routine where you take it and you feel the piece of paper and you tell them, similar to how we felt the connection with the pen, I feel that you're thinking of Maria or whatever. So you can do something like that if it fails. There are outs, right? These are not discussed in the tutorial. This is just me thinking out loud. I don't know if you guys like when I do this, but I do think it provides some cool information that you can maybe use if you like it. So that's pretty much the only negative that I have about heartbeat. What are the positives? It's a very unique effect. It's something that you've probably never done, probably that no one has ever seen before. It's very unique. It's very engaging. It's very personal. It's you can do this with pretty much any object that kind of fits the bill of what he goes over in the tutorial. It's also could be impromptu, fully examinable. You can give the pencil away as a souvenir. It's just a very intricate and cool effect. So having said all of this, would I recommend heartbeat and what do I rate it out of 10? If you like the effect and if you feel you are the type of performer to do this type of effect, because this is not for everyone, then yes, I feel you will not be disappointed with what you are going to learn. So yes, I would recommend it. Having said that, what would I rate it out of 10? I would rate Heartbeat by Juan an 8 out of 10. It is something that I'm going to use, but not super often. Because I feel that, I don't often get the exact possibility to perform this, even though I will. This is not going to be something that I'm going to be rushing out to perform, because to me, as he mentions, this is something you perform to someone that really loves your magic or really comes to you to want more, or for like one of your close friends or a family member or someone that you meet that's important to you. So that's where I feel, to me, to my personality and to the way that I perform magic fits the bill. So for me, yes, I recommend it. And yes, it's a good effect, but it's still an 8 because it's not going to be something that I'm going to be performing 24/7. And that for me is, how you go higher. Because even if effect is super good, if I'm not going to be performing it often, I can't give it higher than what it is for me. So for some people, maybe this is a 10, but for me, it's an 8. So I think this has got long enough. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If not, I'll see you in my next video. Have a great one, and bye-bye.